In the name of God, the most merciful, the most compassionate, on behalf of the family of the late President of Egypt, Professor Dr. Mohamed Morsi, may God have mercy on him. And on the 6th anniversary of his martyrdom, under the title 6 Years, a pledge never forgotten, we extend to you the greeting of peace. Peace be upon you all. 6 years have passed since the martyrdom of Egypt's first democratically elected civilian president. Today we gather not merely to mourn him, but to recall his vision, hold his principles, and renew a vow that can never be forgotten. That free nations do not die, that dignity cannot be buried, that true independence is not a dream, but a long road paved by all who remain true to their convent with God and their people. President Morsi was not merely a figurehead or a reaction to a moment in history. He was the bearer of a national project, sovereign, independent, and deeply rooted in a vision for Egypt's renaissance. His positions were not tactical responses, but reflections of a deep conviction and foresight. He came not by chance, but by the will of the people, with a mission to see Egypt rise with dignity, standing tall, not leaning on foreign powers. Today, in the name of his family, his students, and those who believed in his cause, we affirm the following. First, a vision for independent development. President Morsi believed that Egypt could never achieve political independence without economic independence. He called for a nation that produces its own food, manufactures its own medicine, and develops its own weapons. A nation that consumes responsibly and refuses to live independency. He rejected the subjugation of Egypt to foreign debt or external dictates and envisioned a comprehensive national renaissance founded on merit, justice, and self-determination. He was not a manager of institutions, he was a visionary for Egypt's future. We must produce our own food, our own medicine, and our own weapons, he declared. It was a call for sovereignty, dignity, and for national pride. Second, Palestine, a core cause, not a negotiable file. For President Morsi, Palestine was not a mere political issue, nor a diplomatic talking point. It was a question of identity, justice, and dignity of the entire Arab nation. When Gaza was under siege, he said it plainly, "We will not leave Gaza alone." He opened the borders, dispatched his prime minister to the front lines during the bombardment, and refused to remain complicit through silence. Today, as the genocide unfolds in Gaza, we reaffirm our conviction that the people of this region, and of Egypt in particular, will not allow Israel, a rogue and criminal occupier, to unilaterally redraw the regional map through fire and blood. The war in Gaza is not a marginal battle. It's a struggle for existence and identity. The Egyptian people and its national institutions understand this, and so do the honorable men and women of this great nation. Egypt's historical responsibility. Egypt, regardless of attempts to diminish its stature, remains acutely aware of its role, by nature, by history, and by geography. As the renowned geographer Jamal Hamdan wrote, "When Egypt rises, the Arabs follow. When Egypt leads, the Arab world finds direction." Hamdan reminds us, if Egypt falls, the region collapses with it. But if Egypt opens up, so too does the Arab world. This is why colonial powers always made Egypt their primary target. Because Egypt is the key, and it is Egypt that lit the torch of the Arab Spring after Tunisia sparked it. Egypt is not a bystander in history, but an author. In a region where Turkey and Iran remain regional heavyweights, Egypt is the only Arab nation of their caliber. Geographically adjacent to Palestine, historically central to Arab identity, and naturally positioned to lead, it holds the human and natural resources to reclaim that leadership. Let us not forget, Egypt shattered the Mongol sword at Ain Jalut, triumphed at Hattin, and liberated Jerusalem under Salah ad-Din. When Egypt rises, the entire Ummah rises. When it is silent, that compass is lost. Without Egypt, there can be no regional stability, no Arab unity, and no victory for Palestine unless Cairo speaks freely again. Third, strengthening the state, civil, and military. President Morsi worked to strengthen all state institutions, most notably the Egyptian armed forces. In his final speech, he urged the people to protect the army, not to politicize it, and work to develop it into a shield for the homeland. He believed that Egypt's army, as the last powerful Arab military institution, was a beacon of hope for the independence and dignity of the entire Arab world. He declared clearly, "We want a strong army and an independent national decision." For him, the national army was a guarantee of sovereignty, not an instrument of oppression and exclusive rule. A call for unity and inclusive nationhood. It is time for Egypt, Muslims and Copts, across ideologies, colors, and social classes, from its civilian institutions to its military, to return as a strong, free, leading nation. A country that excludes none, a home where all Egyptians, regardless of belief or background, belong. Experience has taught us that Egypt cannot rise through division or exclusion. Only through unity, coexistence, and national alignment can we build a state of citizens, not subjects. A free nation without tyranny, as President Merciful once said, and a nation that lives within us, in the words of the late Pope Shenouda III. On the anniversary of President Mohamed Morsi's martyrdom, we do not simply recall his memory, we reignite his vision, draw strength from his sacrifice, and affirm that the blood of the righteous never dries in vain. From deep pain we set forth hope, from the echo of his final words we hear the call to freedom and dignity, and from the sorrow of his loss we begin writing a new chapter, one of national rebirth. May God have mercy on President Mohamed Morsi and all of our noble martyrs. May he protect Egypt, its people, and its army from every evil, and may Egypt always remain free and dignified.